It's Artiar here. So for this video is the Bravel's tier list for the Divinates weapon. This one is continue back to the previous video because I didn't expect the previous video I already recorded is like 30-minute long, so I separate into two videos. So this is the second part. So we'll continue back at the tier A, which is Leora. So for Leora's weapon is when her HP is above 70%, which will most of the time be 70% because her S3 give her invincibility, and when her HP is above 70%, her S3 final damage is increased by 20%. So this is it syncs very well with Leora, so it's just very good to have it. I personally will rate Leora higher to S rank, but Bravel says that he thought that was Leora's S2, so he kind of make it a mistake here. Then for Elaine is wind type. For Elaine when she is under Night Godness status, then her S2 damage increased by 30%. But I personally likes her S3 more, so buffing her S2 is something good, but not really a lot. I personally I feel so. This is the buff for her S2. Then Mateos one is when the target have spark her fire punch, which is the S3 final damage increase, but which always will be because S3 will inflict the spark first before attacking. So inflict spark then only attack. So it's pure DPS boost for his S3 final damage, which is also very good. Then Valeria one, I think it also syncs very well with her because she have the snake shape which increase her basic ability damage. She have resonant that increase basic ability damage increase. She also have this one. S1 also have chance to keep getting a turn, and her um what's that called? Definitely also increase if her speed is higher than the target, which most of the time will be because you build Valeria with very fast. Her S1 final damage increased by 30%. So her S1 will be very pain because it skills with speed, have a base attack of 110%, have chance to inflict AP down. If you are R6, you have 30% chance to get another turn. Your R1 give your final damage 10%. Your sneak shape get another 30% damage, and then your weapon give another 30%, which is very massive. Is as good as the Brewster one, but just that Brewster's hit more often than Valeria in term because that one is passive. So yeah. Then for normal weapon is at the start of the round. He will start with 2 turns of attack up buff, which is 100%. So you don't have to find a buffer with attack up to buff Narmer because he will start attack up by himself. So and also he will gain Burning Sun by himself because he gives himself attack up for 2 turns, which is very good. Just that why he is rated in A row because maybe not a lot of situation you'll be using Narmer, mostly for PvP, and the requirement of investment in Narmer is pretty high. You need like R6. Then Sena. Okay, Sena's weapon give her 100% chance um grant granting defend up to one ally for 2 turns. Wait, let me screenshot this because there's a typo mistake here. Okay, so let's say you build Sena with Avatara. Avatara will keep proccing this one. It will give AP up to herself and one random ally. And other than that, it's also giving defend up to one ally for 2 turns. And Sena will keep rotating her turn because of the speed up. And so basically Sena will be giving your team attack up, speed up, and defend up. But the defend up will be random one ally. But I'm pretty sure with the Avatara procs and your S1 keep making your Sena turn getting a lot. This defend up actually matters a lot. Even though in PvE or PvP wise, because the defend up in PvE, like situation you're using Sena, you want to buff your team, right? So getting another defend up for your team is very good as well. So your team survivability will be increased a lot. Then the next one is Abigail. Abigail's one is when casting Thorny, which is your S1. When casting Torni, 50% chance granting one ally recovery, which it kind of make Abigail like a small healer now because of the recovery, but the chance is 50-50, and this is already max tier, so that's why her rating is a bit lower. Then Camille. Camille one is a free weapon, as my previous video already showcased. Camille's S weapon give her claw attack 100% chance of inflicting bleed for 2 turns, which is her S1. So you can inflict bleed, then you extend all debuff. And bleed syncs very well with Camille kit because Camille's want to proc the bleed, but it's nothing really major because it's just bleed, and bleed doesn't do very well in current game, so we will see in the future. Then Ethan. Ethan one is when you casting S3, Enchanting Song is your S3, 100% chance of granting defense up to 2 random ally for 1 turn. Keep note that it's only for 1 turn and defend up. Is something good to have, but is it really epic? For my case, it's not really, but if you're going like PvP cases for tank team or maybe even cleave team, the defend up maybe will actually save some of the units. For example, for me, I'm pairing him with Rooster, and the defend up go to Brewster actually makes my Brewster survivability increase. Then the next one is Hilda. Hilda one, at the start of the battle, she will 100% chance of getting defend up for 1 turn. So defend up makes him not able to get one shot by enemy, and also her kit actually scales with certain defend percentage. And the defend up makes her won't be able to one shot, so she have the chance to cast the S3 high because of the survivability. Then Tangshan's. I love Tangshan's weapon because when his HP is higher than 70%, his S1 damage plus 30%, which is this one. And because Tangshan can self heal with your S2, so pretty much most of the time you have your HP higher than 70%, and if you are R6 Tangshan, you actually deal AoE damage up to 5 target, and your S1 damage increased by the weapon is an AoE damage increase of 30% now because of this. It's a very good one. And as my previous video I mentioned, there's 2 free weapon, which is Ling's one and Tangshan's one. I definitely going for Tangshan's one, even though my Tangshan is not R6, but I think it's more worth it than Ling's one. Then Louis. Louis one actually, Bravel also says that it should be at S rank. He did some mistake here. So the reason why Louis one is so good is when the target's crit rate is lower than Louis one, and Louis most of the time will be 100% crit rate because he gives himself crit rate up buff. His S3 final damage will increase 30%. So what you do is you're gonna S2 the target, you get crit rate up buff. So you're gonna have like 100% crit rate already, and enemy gets seer, and you're gonna crit, right? So you're gonna get 1 turn. Then you're going to skill into S3, you're going to deal damage, very high damage, and then it skills with their enemy lost HP, and your S3 final damage increase. And this increase is not just that, also for your R6, if you are R6 Louis, your R6 overkill damage, the 50% of the overkill damage will deal to all the enemy. So your S3 damage increase because of your definite weapon will make the overkill damage a lot more higher. So it actually pairs with Louis very well. Zora. I also love Zora's one a lot. Zora's weapon is when her HP is above 70%, which most of the time she will be 70% above, her S1 final damage increase. S1 is this one. She she have a life steal kit in her S1 with every time she deal damage, a certain percentage of it will become her HP. And when you are 70% HP above, your final damage of S1 increase, so you heal more, you damage more. And your S3 and S2 will also skills into S1, so it will also increase a lot more. And not to mention, if your Zora is R6, every time your ally attack, your Zora have a 15% chance to assist with the S1 also. So S1 damage is going to increase due to the weapon, and the overall DPS from Zora will be a lot more higher. Chongji. Okay, some player doesn't like the Chongji's weapon. I personally love Chongji weapon. Maybe because I didn't build Chongji 100% crit rate, so that's why. Because Chongji's weapon is when he casts S3, 100% chance of granting crit rate up to 2 random allied, which have also a chance including himself because he didn't say excluding himself. So if this thing actually applies to him, my crit rate is 100% crit. It will become 100% crit rate because I didn't build my Changji 100% crit rate. So I personally really love the crit rate up, but some of the cases like let's say you build Changji with in a tank team, you don't really want the crit rate up buff, right? So that's the difference. Depends on your team and how you build Changji. Then the next one is Everett. Everett one is when his HP is above 70%, which kinda you'll be 70% because you keep self healing yourself, and his S3 final damage increased by 30%, which is his this one, the one that can call his like a soldier at the back to attack, increase damage for S3. Then Intisa's weapon when she is under stealth mode, which when you are R2, you'll be always in stealth mode, and her S2 final damage increased by 30%. But I personally want the buff is on S3, not on S2, but since the buff is on S2, I don't think the DPS matters a lot now. And then Jinu Yao. Jinu Yao's one is, oops, getting, at the end of the turn, she will get 50% chance getting a speed up, so she rotates her skill a turn faster. But is it really that useful or impactful for her? I don't think so, at least for me. So we all agree that the tier for her is not that high. And then Liling's one. Liling's one is before casting S3. Before casting S3, he will have 100% chance of getting attack up. So what does this do is, when you cast S3, when you're this punching thing, you get attack up first. So you don't need a buffer now. You will self buff by yourself. Gabriel. Okay, Gabriel one depends if you want her to go DPS mode, or you want her to go as a support role, because her weapon give her S2 have 100% chance to gain attack up. So S2 is this one. So her S2 will deal a lot more damage. That's all. Because it's just one turn. So if you are going like trials, you are going like PvE situation, you want Gabriel to deal more damage, yep, that one will be helpful for you. But other than that, not really. Because if you are going for support, you don't want her attack like go high, right? Then Phantom Sister. Phantom Sister's weapon give her S1 100% chance on inflicting speed down for one turn. Maybe you'll be curious like why Phantom Sisters S1 is also giving speed down, Tricky's one also giving speed down on S1, but why Phantom Sister no rank at B and not in meta? First thing, Tricky's one is 100% chance to proc and is speed down for 2 turns. But for Phantom Sister is S1 for S1 and inflict speed down for 1 turn. So it's 2 turn and 1 turn different. And for Phantom Sister, so for Tricky is you cast S3, you straight away go into S1 already, and you're gonna build Tricky with Avatara. But for Phantom Sister, you rarely build her with Avatara. You mostly build her like more tanky stats, and you're gonna cast S3, S2 first, then only you go to S1. So you're not casting S1 as often as Tricky's situation. That's why. Then for Embla's weapon is when the target is debuff, her S1 is 100% chance inflicting bleed for 2 turn. It's good to pair with Yun Chuan with this thing so you have more bleed on often, but is it impactful? Not really. Then for Jvid, Jvid's weapon can't even save him for being Jmid. So when Jvid himself is not debuffed, her S3 final damage increase. But JV's main DPS is not from S3, it's from the Judgment Seal itself, from the true damage. So this thing is not gonna save him from being J-mid. That's why it's at the C tier. Same to Ife. When Ifei's HP is above 70%, 100% chance of inflicting poison when casting S2. You already have poison kit, and you just apply one more poison thing in her S2, that's all. You're not bringing something new or something effective to her to actually save her from being not good. So she's in the C tier. So overall, this is Bravel's and the other Grandmasters tier list overall outcome. Leora will be higher and Lewis will be higher. Then, I personally put in my own opinion and my my knowledge for it. So I also made up another tier list by myself, but more or less it's the same. Just that I changed some a bit. Like I feel like maybe I don't really use that skill a lot often. Maybe I don't use that expert a lot often. I feel like it's not really helpful for my situation. So this is my personal one. You'll see more or less it's the same. Just that I have like more unit on the OK side compared to Bravel's one. Oops. Right. Yeah. So this is my personal one, but and this is Bravel's one. More or less it's the same. More or less overall it's gonna be almost the same tier. Yeah, so that's all for the video today, and hope the weapon tier list actually give you an idea like what kind of weapon you are going for, because the amount of summoning resources they give us is enough for us to 3 hard PT 3 weapon. Like one weapon you want to hard PT 3 times is enough. They give you like 294 pull, which is almost 300 pull. You are able to tier 3 one weapon of your choice, including Shimmer. So I hope this tier list actually helps you have an idea like what kind of definite you should be going for. Maybe let's say you have Brewster, so maybe the weapon of Brewster actually interested you, so you can go for Brewster one, or maybe you have Raven, for example, all this thing. Yeah. So see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.